Maddie and Steve, they set the stage. From classic bouts to the modern age. Every slam, every story, every legacy comes alive with wrestling pedigree. So tune on in, the spotlight's bright. The ring is ready on this podcast night. It's wrestling pedigree.
God, I love that music. Welcome, everybody, to a brand new episode of Wrestling Pedigree. I'm your co-host, Matty. And with me, I have the last real general manager at MWO who's trying to ruin it all. Steve Atkins, how are you, sir?
Oh, Matty, it has been a week. And I'm here with you, ready to talk wrestling, ready to escape real life.
Absolutely. By the way, I'm going to make that as a t-shirt now. It's been a week. I'm going to make that into a t-shirt.
Because that's how I start every podcast. It has been a week.
For the past couple of weeks, you've been saying, I got to do that now. This week's episode is quite different than advertised. Unfortunately, our special guest, Ryan, was supposed to be on the show, but he has a personal stuff going on, so we couldn't get him on. However, we are arranging it for the following week. So with that said, we're going to do the good, the bad, and the ugly of WCW pay-per-views the following week. And tonight we are going to talk all things WCW Wrestlers and Factions. Basically, a chilled episode. We're just going to talk shit and enjoy reminiscing about the good old WCW days. So we're going to keep it positive this time. I promise I will not be as negative as I was about Starrcade 97.
Which also means that he's not going to mention Vince Russo. Because then he knows that I won't be positive.
That's true. That name is not on this episode, I promise you. So with that being said, I want to jump right into it. And I know I said I'll be positive, but that's me going to stay positive. Let's talk about the woman who showed up on Monday Nitro and put the women's title in the trash can. But her impact in WCW in the women's division, which didn't have really a women's division, Medusa.
Do we have to?
Yes, if it helps, it's going to be like a 2-minute convo about her. But do you think they should have focused more on the women's division? Because they had someone brilliant like Medusa.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Medusa was, despite my personal feelings towards her, she was one of the greatest women superstars of all time. And I think her going back to WCW, that was a really, really wasted opportunity for WCW to build something around her.
And I know they had her with, I think, Macho Man at one point.
I think so. I think she was with Macho Man right before Asia came.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was even before that.
I think it was her and Molly Holly together.
Yep.
So, but yeah, they missed the ball there, I think. But like you said, she is one of the best top women's wrestlers, especially in the 90s for me. I gotta give you this because I want to test your I'm going to test your WCW knowledge for some of the wrestlers now. So just some of the names.
Okay.
Because I found this out and I hilarious. Big T.
Ahmed Johnson.
I can't remember him in WCW.
Yeah, he was there for a cup of coffee. But the reason WCW decided to bring him on was because, he had gained weight, he was bigger, he was imposing. And He fought Booker T for the rights to the letter T. What the fuck? um, but the same reason that WCW brought him on was because he was bigger, he was imposing, was the same reason they let him go, because he had gained too much weight and wasn't willing or wasn't able to go back down to his Ahmed Johnson weight.
And yeah, I think he had bad legs, didn't he? He had really bad legs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Someone that he doesn't know I got heat with him, but I said this every time he gets mentioned. Billy Kidman. The guy is so lucky; it is unbelievable. I loved him in the cruiserweights, the flock, what we talked about last week. It was just brilliant, and he's one of the best cruiserweights WCW produced, in my opinion.
I will agree. However, I think Kidman was very hit or miss. It especially when it came to his shooting star press.
Yes.
When he hit it, it was a thing of beauty. But he needed to hit it in order for it to be a thing of beauty.
Yeah, it's one of the difficult ones. I mean, no offense, Brock Lesnar is a perfect example at WrestleMania 19.
Yep.
What did you think about his match? Not his matches, his storylines with Tori Wilson.
I thought they were interesting. They had the potential to be really, really good. I think it fell a little short of being really good. I'd still say they were pretty good, though.
I was going to say this: a prime Tori Wilson and definitely a prime Billy Kidman against today's Dominic, Mysterio, and Liv. Who will win?
Ooh.
That's good, isn't it?
Prime Tory and Kidman.
I mean,
No. I can't go against my Dom. It's got to be Dom and Liv.
I would have gone for Kidman. I don't know how, but you probably would have done something because he's always lucky. Let's go with someone that in the 90s I first watched him and I fell in love with his rivalry with stunning Steve Austin, Bobby Heaton.
Mm-hmm.
He's so underrated, and a lot of wrestlers fans, including myself and probably you, know how underrated he is and doesn't get that. He deserves so much more, I think.
Oh,
Recognition.
absolutely. Especially though as a tag team wrestler.
Yes.
Like, just fucking wow. The things he and Condrey could do together were fucking amazing. And rest in peace, Dennis Condrey. Like that was a huge loss for the wrestling community.
Oh yeah.
Losing one of the absolute best tag team wrestlers of all time.
I think he was technical sound.
Oh yeah. They both were.
That's what I was gonna say. Bobby and Dennis were.
Yep.
We talk about managers. I want to just mention Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Oh God, I love the Brain.
I mean, I love his commentary. I mean, I tell people every time if someone mentions Bobby, I say you gotta watch Royal Rumble 1992 commentary. That's the best thing ever. However, the Weasel was in WCW. He was unstoppable, wasn't he?
Oh yeah.
As a manager and a commentator.
Mm-hmm. I think as a commentator, they kind of what's the right way to say this?
Toned him down.
Yeah, they toned him down a lot.
Yeah.
He wasn't as in your face as he was when he was sitting next to Gorilla.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit different when you're sitting next to Gorilla and then you're sitting next to Tony Giovanni and Michael and that. So it's a bit different to that.
Yep, and I guess him and Tony had real life heat.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yep. I read not too long ago that they had real life heat that Bobby just didn't like working with them.
That's kind of surprising. I never known Tony get heat. I probably haven't read a lot of stories on Tony Giovanni getting heat, but That does surprise me, but I'll have to read into that.
Yeah.
Bruiser Mastino.
Oh, you mean Kane?
Ah, son of a bitch.
That's gotta be Kane.
That's gotta be Bruiser. Yeah, that's just a crazy name to give him, innit? I mean, he's been everywhere, but it's funny the names they give him, like Bruiser Mastino.
Yeah, and he was part of WCW when it broke away from the NWA.
Yeah.
But he was only in WCW itself for a cup of coffee.
Yes, and also there was a faction, a very, very like short faction. It was the Skyscrapers. Do you know who was in the Skyscrapers?
Yep. Dangerous Dan Spivey and Sid Vicious.
There was someone else in that and all.
Yes, Mean Mark Callis.
I wish who was me, Mark Callis.
The man that we all know and love as The Undertaker. Mr. Mark Calloway.
By God, he was ginger in this, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
He had a lot of names though, didn't he? Yeah, didn't he have a lot of names in WCW? They tried to change him up, like kind of like what that they gave Nash, but I think they changed his name a few times, like me, Mark, Summer, and they put a mask on him at one point. I think.
I think they had the mask on him before he came to WCW. He was Texas Red.
Okay, yeah, explains the hair.
Yep.
We're talking about the Skyscrapers, and you mentioned one of them, and he's going to be in the Hall of Fame this year. Psycho Sid Vicious.
Yes,
Sid.
long overdue.
It kind of pisses me off when they do it when they're past. They go to Heaven Mania, but what's your take on Sid and how amazing he was in WCW in the old days and when he came back in the 90s?
Oh my God, he had such an aura about him. Big 6'9" guy, built like a brick shithouse. The rivalries that he had with the likes of Vader and Ric Flair, and then coming into the Horsemen with Flair, and of course Arn Anderson.
Mm-hmm.
The guy he was fucking amazing, and him being inducted into the Hall of Fame, long overdue.
I still say his rivalry with Goldberg still gets me.
Yeah,
the car,
and that poor guy jumping off of the ropes, which there's a reason he never went up to the ropes. And we found out in that moment what that reason was when his leg went this way.
I watched it a couple of times, and my wife is a nurse, and I showed her that once, and she was like, "Oh, it's one of those where it just grit your teeth."
Yeah, I still cringe every time I see it, even though it's been well over 20 years.
You know what's so amazing? When he first came back after that leg injury in the Indies, do you know who he powerbombed first?
No.
Sami Zayn.
Really?
He powerbombed, I think it was Frank somewhere on the Indies. It was somewhat Frank, which was Sami Zayn. And he powerbombed him, and then, yeah, it was crazy. That was the first powerbomb he did after his injury in the Indies.
Wow.
I didn't know that could go for internet. Talking of Sid, we go to another big. I think of another big man, and I did like him in WCW. I'm more in WWE because I found him more entertaining. But Big Vito.
Oh yeah, Vito. Vito was he was much better than he should have been. And really underrated too. He was a solid mid-carder.
I think his best work is today in Gigolo.
Yeah.
Which we won't mention the name, but I think he's so entertaining in Gigolo, and he was so entertaining in WWE. I mean, the man wears a dress.
Yep. Nobody can rock a dress like him and the Headbangers.
Yeah. Oh, imagine that trio. Oh.
God,
Um.
not a hair among them.
Okay. Sean Paul Levesque, which is
Oh
easy.
yeah, um, yeah, hometown boy for me. Triple
Just up,
H.
just up the road.
Yeah. So I grew up in Manchester, New Hampshire. He grew up in Nashua, New Hampshire, which is about a 20-minute drive.
Oh, yeah. That's not bad.
No.
Thank God. He was. I didn't know he teamed up with Regal,
Yep.
and Regal was part of the Blue Bloods, which was with Bobby Eaton.
Yep.
With Bobby Eaton, I didn't know that, but Steven Regal here, but we all know him as Winning Regal. Even then in WCW, he was a phenomenal wrestler.
Oh yeah.
I mean, even if you stretched Goldberg out, it was still fun to watch. And if you watch him in any battle royal or any match, he has the best selling face
Hmm.
of any wrestler, in my opinion, back then.
And in my opinion, he is the best ground wrestler of all time.
Yeah, I actually agree with you on that. There's no one that could compare to him. I
Nope.
mean, that Regal stretch is one thing of a beauty.
Yep. Absolutely.
Um, talking of beauty, DDP. For someone that started, I think, age 35, and
Yep.
when he told, I know this off Legends of Wrestling, he told Michael Hayes that he wants to be a wrestler instead of a manager. Michael Hayes was on the floor laughing his fucking ass off. How much motivation, how much respect does DDP have for his work he's done in WCW, from the Diamonds, studs and stuff like that to where he ended up at the end?
Oh my God. So him moving from manager to wrestler to active wrestler, and he had such great people behind him, like the Diamond Stud or Vinny Vegas,
Yes.
which, for those of you who may not know, Diamond Stud, Scott Hall,
And Vinny Vegas.
was
Nash.
Kevin Nash.
Yeah.
Um,
What great names.
I'm sure we'll talk more about Nash and his interesting gimmicks a little later. But DDP moving from manager to active wrestler was something that I didn't have on my bingo card.
No.
Um, but when he did, I was like, wow, this guy has something. And of course, at that point, I'm like probably 8, 9 years old. But I'm watching him and I'm like, this guy's pretty good.
Do you think he had the best finisher?
Mm,
I thought he did.
I thought it was definitely one of the most interesting finishers I had ever seen. And obviously it's been adapted.
Mhm.
Hell, it was adapted almost immediately when Mark Marrow started doing his TKO.
Yes.
Because if any of you listen to Chris Van Vliet, Mark Marrow was on this past week, and he told the story of how he saw Dallas lift somebody up onto his shoulders and kind of swirl him over for a diamond cutter. And he called Dallas and he's like, "Hey, can I use that for my move?" And Dallas was like, "Brother, you can use whatever you want." And Marrow adapted that into the TKO.
Would you say DDP is probably one of the nicest guys? As a fan looking out, we're outside the bubble, obviously, but just peeking through the curtain, do you feel like DDP is one of the nicest people in wrestling? Do you think?
Oh, absolutely. Especially with the stuff that he's doing now with his DDPY. You can see the positivity just dripping out of every pore of that man.
Yeah, I'm a subscriber. I use DDP Yoga. quite a bit now. I lost a fair bit of weight, so it does help, and it's highly recommended. Do you think his legacy will be in ring, or what he's done outside to help the lives of Scott Hall, Snake, Buff,
Mm.
Butterbean?
I think more of his legacy is built around DDPY.
Yeah, and
Like,
it's worthy of it.
yeah, I mean, he was fantastic in the ring. He was a great superstar, a Hall of Famer. But the stuff that he's done after wrestling, you know, getting people motivated to make their lives better, is making everybody's life better. And
Yeah.
that, to me, that puts him on a whole other level.
Um, Somewhat similar to him with his legacy, but on the other scale, Cactus Jack.
Ooh, yes.
His
I
his, ri- his rivalry with Vader for me still lives on.
Yep. Um, especially the Texas death match that they had. Now, see, when we were originally talking about what we were going to do tonight, that was one of my top three.
Well, all time best ones, like
Yep,
good ones.
all time best pay-per-views. It was a solid card top to bottom, but that main event, that Texas death match, holy shit! Like that showed really how crazy Mick Foley really is.
Yes, I mean, for the bumps he does outside the ring on concrete back then was unbelievable. Because I think at the time it was Bill Watts was in charge. He took all the way to padding.
Yep.
Mick still said, "So that we're going to do it." Um, with Mick though, um, I remember. I know it's Cactus Jack. He was Cactus Jack. It was because I know it's a Dusty Rose created where someone was going to get electrocuted in the middle of the ring in a chair.
Yeah.
This is on one of my what the WTF list. So
Yep.
get ready to talk about all that next week. But it has such bad production where the lever was on top of the cage, like on the side of the cage, and it accidentally fell down. And for Mick to climb up, he had to pull the lever back up to make it go down. But the camera work in WCW was so fast that they actually still looked at Mick pulling the lever up for him to put it back down, and he accidentally electrocuted the butcher. Abdullah the
Yep.
butcher.
Abdullah the Butcher.
Yeah, it's one of those that lives in my head for a long, lot of reasons, but it's crazy what Dusty did through those when he was booking, wasn't he?
Oh, Dusty. At that point, I think he was booking in a let's see what happens sort of fashion.
Do you feel his booking not underrated, but should be privileged more what he did in WCW? Because he was a genius in WCW for a long time.
Oh yeah. Like he came up with War Games.
Mm.
That alone puts him up to an elite level. But some of the stuff that Dusty tried to push on us made me go, "What the fuck are you thinking, Dream?"
Like what?
Like
Oh.
that, like the electric chair.
um, let's go with there's someone there. Oh yes, Mike Tenay,
Ooh, one of the absolute best play-by-play men ever.
the
Um,
professor.
yes, and putting him side by side with Shivani, letting Shivani kind of learn from him was a genius move. And like you even see Shivani in AEW now. He's still got it,
Yeah.
but he's never going to be Mike Tenay. He's never going to be Jim Ross.
If you had to pick, obviously this I know the answer to this, but we have three of the biggest promotions from the 90s into the early 2000s, which was TNA in 2002, obviously, and the 90s with WWE and WCW. So WWE obviously is JR and the King. Who would it be WCW commentary? Because there were three men, wasn't it? There were always three.
Yeah, it was always a 3-man booth. I think I would have to give it to Brain and Shivani.
Just those two?
Yep. Because if we're keeping it to just two, then it's got to be Brain and Shivani.
All right, so Brain and Shivani, and then TNA, Don West and Mike Tenay.
Yep.
Who have you got?
See, there's a couple of different ways I could go here. Because obviously, Mike Tenay, legendary. Don West had never, ever commentated for wrestling before.
No.
He was coming from the Home Shopping Network.
Yeah,
which oh yeah, and I remember seeing him on the Home Shopping Network back in the 90s. And my cousin and I would always make fun of him and how excited he got about stuff. But for him during TNA, it was him learning on the job.
Yeah.
And I think at the end of the day, he was a very, very passable commentator.
I love those two. Those two were, for me, was unbelievable.
Now, I mean, Brain and Shivani, both legendary in their own ways.
Yeah.
But the way JR and King were able to work off of each other is, I think those two defined WWE for me.
Oh yeah.
Even above and beyond Gorilla and Brain.
Ooh.
And yeah, I know that may be controversial. I love Gorilla Monsoon. I love Bobby the Brain Heenan. And they were fantastic together. But not only how JR and King worked off of each other, but the longevity those two had as commentating partners.
Yeah.
I've got to give it to them.
I give it. I mean, for someone to be together as a duo for what, 1990, end of 97 to 2010.
Yeah.
Or 2008, to something like that. It's unbelievable length. And somewhat similar to this, because I think he'll be a very good commentator. And that would be Buff Bagwell.
Oh, I love Buff. Like, as you can see from last week with my posing, I love Buff Bagwell.
Yeah.
He was good in the ring. He was great on the microphone. He had the look. He had the charisma. He had the body. He was buff. He was the stuff, and the girls could not get enough.
What's your take on him returning to TNA and his promo saying he wants one more match in that ring?
I'm excited about it, and I really hope he's able to get his body, especially his leg, or lack thereof, a leg. I'm hoping that he can get himself into shape to be able to do it.
I think someone that trained can do it. I think you'll probably need help by someone like Zach Gowen, who has been doing it for years with one leg.
Yep.
I think that would be perfect teaching moment for him. But I feel Buff could do it. And I would
Yeah.
love to see him versus Kazarian in the ring.
I would love that.
Even if it's a tag team, it'd still be pretty cool to see Buff back in the ring one more time.
Yeah.
Someone else I want to see in the ring one more time. Chavo Guerrero's Jr.
Oh, Chavo.
The most underrated Guerrero, in my opinion.
Yeah,
And
I'll agree, and that includes Dom.
oh, in WCW, he hit the cruiserweights. He was phenomenal. I think he was really good in the cruiserweights, but obviously he made his name more in WWE. But in WCW, I think he did pretty well especially he was with Eddie at the time.
Yep. Chavo, especially now, where he's in Hollywood, he's training people in movies how to wrestle. He was instrumental in the Iron Claw movie, teaching everybody that was playing the Von Erichs how to wrestle. And I don't know if you've watched the movie. I've
Yes.
watched it, and it was amazing to me. It was fantastic.
I will say that's probably Zac Efron's best film.
Yeah.
Here's another trivia. Samantha.
Oh, Samantha. That's the name that's not coming to me.
It was Tori Wilson before it was Tori Wilson.
Okay.
There you go. Robbie V.
Rob Van Dam.
I was so cool though that they had RVD there. I think they had RVD there. They had Sabu there. I think RVD was in WCW before he went to ECW. Am I correct?
Yes, because in WCW he was still wearing his G, I believe.
Okay. Yeah. But thank God he went to the ECW. Miss Hancock.
Oh, Stacy Keibler. Yep.
That
that was that storyline that she had with David Flair was something else.
yeah. It just popped in my head. The wedding, the pregnancy, Ric Flair. I loved it.
Yeah.
Miss Texas.
Oh, Miss Jacqueline.
Yes. She was a badass then. Obviously, she ruffled some feathers backstage, but she was. That's someone else like Medusa, which is like they could have used her as the women's division, surely.
Oh yeah, yeah, and I mean at the same time they had Nora Greenwell, who would later become Molly Holly. Those three right there, Hall of Famers, and they didn't fucking use them.
Was there ever a women's championship in WCW?
There was. I really don't know how often it was defended, though. I do remember WCW tried to redo the rivalry between Medusa and Bull Nakano.
Ah.
I remember that, and I believe it was for the WCW Women's Championship.
And then they knocked on the head. It was never seen again.
Yeah.
Let's get into someone that likes to make money. Kevin Nash.
Oh, Kevin Nash. Well, are we going with Kevin Nash? Are we going with Vinny Vegas? Are we going with Oz?
Oz was freaking weird.
That was weird.
It was so weird gimmick. I mean, I think Kevin Nash is the perfect person that you can't say no and then keep going and going, and then the perfect thing will help you. I think him as Vinny Vegas helped Sean spot him.
Yep.
On TV, and then gave him a call, and then we got Diesel in WWE.
Yep.
He was amazing in WCW, especially as outsiders in NWL, like we spoke before. Is there a match that you think that was Kevin Nash's best match in WCW?
He did have quite a few good matches. I'm kind of partial to Bash of the Beach '96.
Yes.
Um, when they unveiled the third man as Hogan.
I mean, it was a 3-on-2 handicap match, and it still made it look brilliant.
Yeah. I mean, Nash and Hall put on a great show against three of WCW's absolute best, and they held their own right up until Hogan came in and dropped the leg on Savage.
Yeah, and I think their match at Halloween Havoc against Harlem Heat is for me one of their best matches.
Yep. But I think a lot of that also has to do with Harlem Heat because Stevie Ray and Booker T they knew how to work with bigger guys.
Sticking on that one then, Harlem Heat, both Booker T and Stevie Ray, two amazing. I mean, Booker T had so much work. I'd say work, so much rewards in 2000 for his hard work. Do you think he was underrated still back in WCW?
I think he was. I think even when he eventually won the heavyweight championship, he was still looked at as underrated. He was still looked
Yeah.
at as a tag team specialist.
Do you have a best match of Booker? I mean, he's been there since the early 90s, but is there like a standout Booker T match that you think, yeah, people need to see that in WCW?
The match he had against Steiner on the last Nitro, despite it being what's the right way to say this? Oversaturated.
Yeah,
I believe that was one of the best matches for both of those guys.
totally agree. And you got Booker T was so talented, so talented. But however, Stevie Ray was still very talented.
Hmm.
Is there? Do you know, in your opinion, why he didn't get the chances Booker did?
I don't know for certain, but I think it was more of, they looked at the two of them and said, well, we think Booker has it, so we're gonna try to push Booker. And Stevie, you're gonna kind of take a back seat. Let's put you in the NWO just to make you happy.
Yeah, he got a payday.
Yeah, he got a payday. He was still on TV every single week.
Yeah. Would you say Booker T was probably the technical wrestler, and then Stevie was the bruiser?
Oh yeah. Although I would also say Booker, out of the two of them, was the more entertaining.
Yeah, I'll give you that one. But like William Regal, his facial expressions were next to none.
Yeah.
I hate doing this because I do a lot with other wrestling fans, but Booker the HBK and Stevie the Marty.
I mean, I guess that's the only way that you really can look at it.
I mean, you could do it with a lot of tactics. We could actually do a whole episode on just who we could like who was HBK and who was a Marty Jannetty of their tag team.
Yes, let's book an episode of tag teams of who's the Marty.
Who's the Marty? Oh, a special guest, Marty Jannetty.
No, we cannot have Marty Jannetty on a podcast.
We don't want to get canceled.
Yeah, we would definitely get canceled.
But we'll keep that idea of the Marty. Who's the Marty? All right. There's another faction which Guilty loves.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's so much with the music and stuff like that, and with wrestling, 3 count was my guilty love.
Yes.
Shane Helms, Shannon Moore, and even
Evan Courageous.
that's the one. It's
And
they
you
were
can't forget
so on.
about Tank Abbott.
I was going to mention Tank Abbott. The first time I saw Tank Abbott was on Friends,
Yep. Yep.
but I love Free Count and Tank. They were hilarious, and
They really were.
they were they were entertaining, but they could wrestle.
Hmm.
There's I go to this that their style was what do you say was if they were coming through the territories today, I think they will be so over.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you could very well equate them to teams like the Young Bucks.
Oh yeah, Shane Helms and Shannon Moore against the Young Bucks. Yes,
That would have
please.
been fantastic.
Give me like Javon versus Shane Helms, and that would be
Ooh.
amazing match.
Not Hurricane Shane Helms, but Sugar Shane Helms.
Sugar Shane Helms. I mean, Hurricane would have been NXT World Champion by now, in my opinion. But they got El Grande Americana. They can have the fucking Hurricane back.
Yep.
I thought these three. I think Shane had one of the best finishers.
Yeah, that vertebreaker was absolutely sick every time that he hit it.
I know a certain boss made him stop it, but it's still for me one of the best finishers.
Well, see, it wasn't Vince that wanted him to stop it though. It was Bruce Pritchard that wanted him to stop using it.
Well, that's because
And
he's a stooge.
and then Shane McMahon came in and said, "No, you're going to use this." So he still used it until Vince said, "Yeah, no more. That could really hurt somebody."
We took there's a couple of factions I didn't know were, but these is around 1999. Vicious and Delicious.
Yes, vicious and delicious. Oh fuck. I I just looked at something about them. And I can't for the life of me remember.
We talked about one of them earlier.
Yeah, I know it was Buff. And I forget who. Oh, Scott Norton.
Yes, all I had to do was go and mention New Japan, and you'd be like, yeah.
Yeah.
They were a very good tag team. I think obviously they were in NWO also, but they were a good tag team. I thought they could have done much more with them. I thought
They could have. They had a really good dynamic between the two of them.
yeah. Chronic.
Yep. Yep. Brian Adams, Brian Clark.
I would see. This is how bad of a booker, and in my head, I wouldn't call it Chronic. I would just call it the Bryans.
Yeah, kind of like Justin coming up with the bigs.
Exactly, or the Juices.
Hey, no, I came up with Juicy Juice, and that was amazing. Actually, no, I think Sean came up with that.
Yeah, take credit. You're proper drink. GM now. Just take credit of everybody else's. It's bad enough Booker T stole bases loaded out for Justin. So, Natural Born Killers. Chuck Colombo and Sean O'Hare.
Natural Born Thrillers.
Is it thrillers? I thought it was killers.
No, it was Thrillers.
Because
Natural Born Killers was a movie.
Okay. I got it wrong now, but still. Oh, yeah. Woody Harrelson.
Yep.
Well, Natural Born Thrillers was still a good tag team.
It was. And Chuck Palumbo, he was way ahead of his time.
Oh yeah.
And I think that also showed when he came over to WWE, and especially when they teamed him with Billy Gunn. In my opinion, Palumbo was one of the greatest tag team wrestlers of the early 2000s.
Oh, absolutely. And I think his FBI in WWE was amazing also.
Yep.
Because with the tank top, with the cigar, he is full gimmick brilliance.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Is it bad in my head? I could have done Billy and Chuck for if he's Big Gay Pride, like Big Gay Brunch for GCW. That'd be so good.
Yeah, that would be good. You know, I
Just
would
what
love to see Billy and Chuck together one more time.
and to do it at, like if he's like GCW's Big Gay Brunch, it would be
Mhm.
perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect place to do it, especially if they had a wedding again. I know I'm stuck on the factions, but it's one I want to go on, and it's probably around the time you were watching it. Doom.
Oh, Doom. That yeah. So Doom was Hacksaw Butch Reed and
Yes.
Ron Simmons
Damn.
with
They
manager Theodore Long.
or as they call him, and as
Peanut Head.
yes, and what JBL calls him, cheap bastard.
Yeah, that too.
They were really, really good back then. They and I think if you put them in a W in their prime today, I think they'll be unstoppable, especially in WWE and AEW.
Yeah, I agree. And you know, out of the two of them, Butch didn't go on to do much more.
Mm.
However, and which is way too bad because he was so freaking good in the ring and he was entertaining too. But then you have this mammoth of a man like Ron Simmons.
Yes.
He becomes the first ever African American world champion of a major promotion, at least. Um, and you know, Ron Simmons is such a fucking legend, and from all accounts that I've heard, one of the nicest guys, and
Oh,
very, very humble.
I've heard that's so many nice stories
Hmm.
about him that is unbelievable. That their Hall of Fame speeches in WWE is legendary for me.
Yep.
And I think when they're inducting Godfather, their induction speech is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
It's when JBL going full Bradshaw and he's like, "Yeah, we did this," and all of a sudden we sample some hose, and then he's actually Ron's like, "No, baby, no, it was just him and Charles, not me." It's it's brilliant. It's so funny. Um, I don't think you could do a Marty with them. I think they're both like top caliber HBK kind of people where you cannot separate them. They're full talents.
I would have to agree. However, with Butch not going on to do much more, especially in singles competition, I would have to make him the Marty. And
Ooh,
I hate to do that because
I think
he was so talented.
I think we will have to do an episode
Yeah.
because I think you just might get heat. I just might get you to get heat. Mike Awesome.
Oh my God.
And
So
that's someone getting heat.
so there were very few people that ever power bombed Hulk Hogan. I was actually watching a video today. There were very few people. There was Kevin Nash. Um, let's see, Big Van Vader,
Yes.
Brock Lesnar, um, Sid Vicious at WrestleMania 8,
Mhm.
and the one name that jumped out at me. They said this one wasn't a power bomb. This was an awesome bomb. And it was Mike Awesome power bombing Hulk Hogan through a table.
Wow.
And I think it was 1999.
Yeah, that's why you defected to WCW.
Yep.
Did you go to WCW with the ECW belt?
I think I'm pretty sure he did.
because they did a thing where it was the ECW championship with a WCW wrestler against a WWF wrestler, which was Taz
Yep, Taz.
in the ECW ring. It's crazy
It,
times.
it was it was the biggest clusterfuck that you could ever think of.
And they could have done so much with Mike, and they made him fuck fat girls.
Yeah, he was the fat chick thriller.
He made it work, but they could have done so much more for him.
I mean, what was worse though? His fat chick thriller or that 70s guy?
That 70s guy.
Mm. Yeah.
I mean,
I'll
your
agree.
your 70s guy is better than his 70s guy.
Yeah, that's true.
We actually got through a couple of names that I got, but Conan.
Absolutely legendary. Like, especially if we're talking about his stuff in Mexico. Like, he built 1990s Mexican wrestling.
Yes. Triple
And
A. He's
yep.
he, I know AEW calls it pillars. Like they got
Mhm.
pillars, all the rest. Conan is probably one of the biggest pillars in Triple A.
I would say he is the foundation.
Yeah. Him in WCW was so much fun while he was K-Dog as the Wolfpack or LWL and stuff like that. And they carried it on to TNA with LAX.
Yep.
He's the word in the wrestling, it gets used a lot, but he is a genius, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'll agree. I mean, he can wrestle, he can talk, he can book. Which is something that we couldn't always say for like Kevin Nash.
Yes.
But he could really do it all in wrestling.
And he's a perfect commentator with JBL and Corey Graves at the moment.
Yes.
Another genius, Kevin Sullivan.
Oh my God. That there is not enough good things I could say about Kevin Sullivan.
Do you think he's ahead of his time back then?
Absolutely. But I also think that he was really, really campy and gimmicky.
I would put him in, if I could have a time there, stuff like that, especially in Heaven Mania, put him in a room with Bray Wyatt. I see what ideals comes out with that.
Oh, there would be sparks right there.
It will be the perfect storm of
Yeah.
the evil gimmick.
Letting the Taskmaster mesh with the Eater of Worlds. Oh my God.
That would be brilliant.
Like you get the Taskmaster, you get the satanic side of Kevin Sullivan, and you get the cult leader side of Bray Wyatt. You bring that together, and you get Charles Manson.
Yes, absolutely. Juventud Guerrera.
Oh God, you had to bring up Hoovy, didn't you?
Absolutely. We're not we're not doing anything on a poll. It's just Juventud.
Because you know how much I love Hoovy. Like when those cruiserweights would come on at the beginning of every Nitro for the first hour, I would always wait to see, okay, is Hoovy going to wrestle? Who is he going to wrestle? What's he going to do? He was so fucking exciting for me. I loved watching him, whether he was wearing his mask or once he lost his mask. I fucking loved Hoovy.
I heard stories he was a bit difficult backstage in WWE, but the Mexicals, did you find that entertaining?
I found it entertaining to an extent. Like I loved them coming down on the Juan Deere.
I just wanted the lawnmower. Like we don't get that over here. Those kind of lawnmowers. I just wanted one of those.
Yeah. Well, that was the Juan Deere.
Oh, is it? I literally that is actually I think it's a Bruce idea, not a Vince idea.
It was probably a Bruce idea.
Which somehow he managed to convince everybody. Even I think he explained it on one of his shows, and he just went, "Yep," and
Yep, that was me.
you couldn't do it again. While we're on the case of cruiserweight psychosis,
Oh,
I know Mexico.
but there is so much that they could have done with him in WCW.
Mm,
I really think they treated him a lot better in ECW.
I think they treat a lot of the cruiserweights better in ECW.
Yeah. Um, but he was for a big guy, like not a heavy guy, but he was tall. He was for a cruiserweight, he was 6'5", 6'6", something like that.
Yeah, he was a lanky. He was like 6'4".
Yeah. Um, and he could still do the stuff that Rey Mysterio, Juventud Guerrero were doing.
Yeah, and I think he was more psychology. I think he was a really good ring general for the cruiserweight stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I think his match to the point ECW One Night Stand 2005
Hmm.
against Ray.
Yep.
I want to say it's Ray.
Yeah.
It's a brilliant match.
Oh yeah, it was. I mean, both of those guys were ring generals at that point.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna give you 5 more.
Okay.
Actually, I'm gonna give you 6 more because I would love to know your opinion on this. Reed Flair. Do you remember Reed as a kid how he took down Eric Bischoff?
Yep, I do.
For me, that's one of my favorite moments. Just Reed going full woo and doing the hair, and then Arn Anderson there, and then by God, he took Eric down not once but twice.
Yep. I would have loved to have seen Reed as a wrestler.
Yeah, I would have known. I think he'll be. Ooh, he'll be in WWE.
Yep,
He probably would have been 11-time world champ by now.
probably. Um, I mean, you could tell as a young kid, he had that wrestling itch. He
Oh,
wanted to be in the ring. He wanted to follow in his father's footsteps, and I think he could have done it.
hmm?
But I also think if he had done it, we wouldn't have Charlotte Flair right now.
Yeah, that's the two swords in it meeting together. It's just. However, is it kind of bad that I think Ric Flair was probably a better wrestler back then than Rick Goldberg?
I mean, I can't really argue with you there.
Because those takedowns were natural, and I would love to see Goldberg try to do that. I'm not going to mention the big ones because the whole month we've mentioned the big ones and our opinions, but I love talking about this dude, Lance Storm,
Oh my god.
Team
Now,
Canada.
I already said that Regal was the best ground wrestler of all time.
Yes, sir.
I think as far as technical wrestling goes,
Oh yeah.
Lance Storm is right up there. He's got to be one of the top 3 or 4.
For my opinion, it was Lance Storm, then it was Benoit, then Eddie. At that time.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. But we
Um,
also have to think of Malenko though.
yes. I mean, how he was so amazing, so underrated, and I feel his daughter, who's just recently signed to WWE, is going to show everybody that the Malenko DNA is there, and she's
Yep.
going to be the next Charlotte Flair.
Yeah, I would hope that she would be bigger than Charlotte Flair though.
Oh yeah, and
But I don't think it'll happen just because Charlotte carries that Flair name.
I just think she's so talented that I think she can do it.
Yep.
But Lance Storm, Team Canada, like a little bit weird with Team Canada. You had Awesome, Jim Duggan, which pissed me off when he defected, and I'm not even American. Then Major Guns.
Yep.
Brett was part of it.
Yep.
Shats. I got to butcher the name, so I'm just gonna say Jack. Jack Cousteau. Gives me R his last name. Reugeau.
Oh, Jacques Rougeau.
That's the one. See, you're French Canadian, so it helps. And Lance Storm and others.
Wasn't Elix Skipper part of that as well?
Yes, Elix Skipper. I only know Team Canada, but by Jim Duggan, Lance Storm, and Major Guns, but mostly Major Guns. It's just Lance Storm and just the gimmick. He was there, and I think he was one of the first big confidence in him anyway, because he was one of the first people to interfere in WWE.
Yep.
As the Invasion. So WWE had a confidence in Lance Storm then.
Yeah.
Fabulous Freebirds with Michael P.S. Hayes and Garvin. I want to say,
didn't they have Bam Bam Gordy with them at that point too?
See, I'm thinking that, and I looked through. They did have Buddy Roberts.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Bam Bam was there or he went back to WWE to be the Executioner. But I remember those two. I remember those two, and Mick Foley and Abdullah had a match outside, and they had to put the outside mic on. So when that match was done, and Michael and Jimmy Garvin was coming out for their match, and they always sing, don't they? Because it's the Fabulous Freebirds, and they're singing their new song. However, no one in the arena could hear them because the outside audio is still on. I just loved it. That story still gets me from Michael P.S.A.'s on Legends of Wrestling. All right, let's get into someone when we're going to be controversial now. Chris Benoit.
Oh, all right. So we're talking about his time in WCW.
Yes, sir.
We're not going to talk about anything that happened in WWF or the inevitable.
Yes.
Watching this guy in WCW, I was like, wow, holy shit, he is so fucking good. And, the stuff that he was able to do with Kevin Sullivan and the whole storyline whereas as most wrestling fans would say, Kevin Sullivan booked his own divorce.
Yeah.
Because Kevin booked woman to leave him for Benoit. And eventually Nancy did leave him for Benoit.
Real life entertaining art, isn't it? What I say.
Yeah. Well,
him in the Four Horsemen, I really got because how technical sound he was. He needed that breakout because he wasn't good. He wasn't good on the mic, but as soon as he got into the Four Horsemen, his personality came out through that, and until he was given the world title, I was a big fan of his, and then obviously he defected the next night.
Yep.
But yeah, he was a great wrestler in WCW and had no flaws. And he did one of the best matches in WCW history against Bret Hart for the Owen Hart Classic.
That match is one of my very, very favorite WCW matches of all time.
All right, a couple more. Arn Anderson.
the best wrestler to never hold a world championship.
Yes.
Period. End of story. I will not discuss this. He is the best wrestler to never hold a world championship.
He is number one. I'll give you that. There's a
Yes.
big list. There's a big list up below him, but he is number one, and he has the best spine buster in the world.
Oh, absolutely. And even with him being what he's in his mid to late 70s now, and he's still getting in there delivering that killer spine buster.
Yeah. His work in AEW was so much fun, but his work in WCW with the Four Horsemen, you could tell how tough he was.
Yep.
In WCW when they're Jim Crockett Promotions and NWA, and they're just getting interviewed by Mike Shivani. It's just so freaking awesome to see how he could talk, he could back it up. He was one of the best wrestlers in the 80s and most underrated, and like you said, the best wrestler not to hold a world title. Yet, would you call him unlucky for being in Ric Flair's shadow?
No, because he and Flair were best friends. So if I was able to work with my best friend every day, well, one, I'd probably end up killing him. But I think that would be some of the best times of my life.
Can you see Brock going down that same avenue if he gets more experience?
I can see it, but I don't know if Brock is ever going to be ready.
Do you think he needs the PC?
I think he does. I think the best thing for him to do is go over to WWE, work in the PC, work himself up through NXT to the main roster. With his wrestling, I'm gonna say this, with his wrestling pedigree,
Hey, give it.
he could make WWE from NXT within a year and a half.
Absolutely. I agree on that. And it could be amazing in NXT. Johnny B. Bad.
Yes, I have been waiting for this. So, those of you who listen to Insight with Chris Van Vliet or watch Insight on YouTube, shout out to CVV, by the way. Real one here. So there is so much about Mark Merrow that I didn't know before. Like how he first came into WCW with Dusty Rhodes asking him, "Baby, do you know that you look like Little Richard?" And Merrow was like, "Who the fuck is Little Richard?" Like he's thinking like he's like a wrestler, and he's like, Little Richard, the singer. And Mark's like, "You mean the black guy?" and that's why he started tanning, and he got that deep tan.
Triple H kind of tan.
Yeah, he got that Triple H tan where he looked like he was black.
Mm.
And the things that he was able to do as Johnny B. Bad, which he was a very pretty man. Which I still I cannot get over the first time I heard him say that. I was like, wow, I didn't know what to think about him. But then watching him, I'm like, wow, this guy is so entertaining. Like he was great in the ring. And they rewarded him with the United States Championship on, I believe it was a few occasions. It was 2 or 3 occasions, I think. And I kind of wish that he had stayed in WCW instead of coming over to WWF. Because once he got to WWF, yeah, that they had that great gimmick for him with the Wild Man Mark Marrow, but they had no clue what the Wild Man Mark Marrow was. That they just knew he was going to come out to what I'm not going to lie, I loved that music. I loved
Oh
his
yeah.
music as the Wild Man. Um, but they didn't know what his gimmick was, just that he was the Wild Man. They knew his gimmick very well in WCW. They knew he was basically a Little Richard impersonator. And he embraced that, and he made that so much fun. And we here on Wrestling Pedigree, we shove like wrestling positivity down your throats. But this man he now has so much positivity about his career. Looking back on it after the battles that he had with addiction and depression, he looks back on it and he's like, that was some of the best times of my life. And with I'm not going to give too many spoilers for those who haven't listened to or watched the interview yet. But he had some very deep, dark things happen in his life. But now he's looking back on it. He's talking to schools. He's talking to football teams. He's making the best out of the bad situations that he had. So I cannot say better things about Mark Marrow or about Johnny B. Bad than honestly than Chris Van Vliet could.
Yeah.
So guys, I would implore you, if you haven't watched the interview, if you haven't listened to the interview, go on YouTube right now, go on Spotify right now, look up Chris Van Vliet, Mark Marrow. That man is dripping with positivity right now. And him being really good friends with DDP, the two of them, the positivity is so intense between the two of them that it makes me right now, with how excited I am, look like nothing.
I highly recommended obviously that interview. Also, I feel he has a book. Yeah, he has a book out. So
Yep.
that's definitely worth a read. Also, um, let's. I'm going to end with some positivity and end with Mark Merrow as a heel was brilliant. As Johnny B. Bad was amazing face.
Yes.
So with that, we will close the curtain down on this episode. Really fun episode. Just like I said, talking unbelievable wrestlers, underrated wrestlers, a lot of them, and brought back some memories.
And guys, we were planning on coming on here for about 45 minutes just to talk about this. We're at the hour and 15-minute mark almost.
Yeah, in about an half hour, we have wrestling pedigree. Um, so with that, yeah, curtains down on this. Next week we will have we'll extend WCW month by 1 week and do WCW, the good, the bad, and the ugly of WCW pay-per-views with myself, Steve, and our special guest Brian. Keep a lookout for our socials for updates on that. So with that, Steve, where can people not find you?
You can find me on Facebook under my government name, Steve Akins. You can find me on Instagram under So Many Tragedies. You can find me on X or Twitter or whatever you want to call it as pedigree_Steve. You can find me on TikTok somewhere. If you can find my name, let me know because I would love to know it. You can find me in MWL actively trying to ruin the whole company. And if you can't find me, it just wasn't meant to be.
There you go, another t-shirt. Thank you so much, Steve. You can find Wrestling Pedigree on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, WhatsApp channel. You can also, as you see in the banner throughout this episode, our merch store website. We got great merch there. Keeps getting updated. We put more out. Getting very popular. We have like the Forever Bosses Sports. We have our Prediction League wrestlers out there now. They have their own kind of merch on there. And by God, we should do something good. So I have an ideal, which you'll see on social media in the next couple of days, and hopefully it'll work out well.
And hopefully you're going to talk to me about this off screen.
I forgot. Yes. So with that, on this very positive episode of Wrestling Pedigree Podcast with myself and Steve Akins, enjoy professional wrestling.
And guys, don't be a dick.